You asked for answers about Mitt Romney. In this video, I will show 5 case histories where I produced on the internet matrices weeks in advance of an event, and they were amazingly accurate. I will start with some of the reasons why the codes may give you the wrong impression of being wrong. However, I never claimed to be a prophet. I indicated that on the YouTube. I always claimed when approached to tell the future that my codes are primarily end up as dealing with moral issues. The election matrix also deals with moral issues. First of all, the surface text deals with if you will follow the Master of the Universe's directive, you will reap the rewards. However, if you will not, you will suffer the consequences. Mitt Romney is promised a reward as a gift, but he has to follow the Master of the Universe's directive. The matrix spells it out. However, recognize the Master of the Universe. But like King Saul in the Bible, it is possible that a good man can be weak. In brown at the bottom, one term suggests that Romney followed bad advice against his better judgment. The version was not considered in the numerous codes that were evaluated originally. Splitting the original one-word term into 2 words, we get woe, being ruled. Saul was the first king of Israel. The Master of the Universe sent the prophet to choose the right king since the children of Israel wanted a king. However, Saul was ruled by the people instead of following the Master of the Universe's instructions. He was commanded not to use any of the loot after the war. He told the prophet that the people had pity on the livestock and he used some of it as sacrifice. Is it possible that Romney's advisor steered him in the wrong direction? The codes on the elections indicated Romney had to recognize the Master of the Universe. Did he ever indicate it in public? I do not have the answers. There are many other reasons why the codes seem to be wrong. In my 3 elections examples that follow, I will show 2 serious mistakes that I made. In my first example, I have done 98% of the big matrix, but missing 2 letters changed the results entirely. In 2002, I indicated that it was not the professional sniper that killed 10 victims in the Washington, D.C. area. It was Malvo the teenager. 3 months later, Malvo confessed. On the History Channel, I demonstrated one of the codes that stated, on his left hand with his right finger, shooting a gun, of course. Republican elections for USA President 2012. This video that was uploaded to the YouTube well before the convention proved to be remarkably correct about Romney and his opponents. The truth about predicting an election outcome in the codes. In this video, you will find 3 examples of elections that were explored with the Torah codes and published well before the election date. They will prove that I was wrong at times while the codes were correct. Publishing the event after it happened takes away from the impact and the wonder of how it was foreseen in the Torah. However, I presented the matrices in advance for one purpose only, to show how deep the Torah is. Those that wish to inspect the codes in detail may pause the video as required. You will find that 2 extra letters in a big matrix is the whole difference between right and wrong. Let us look at the first Israeli election article that was published in 2001. My first attempt to investigate an election was for the Israeli election dated February 6, 2001. I used 2 matrices. This was the main matrix, showing below is the Hebrew date and the name Ariel Sharon. This is the second matrix used, showing the date term and others at the bottom. Selected terms from the second matrix are shown here with their terms. Here, the three main leaders of Israel at the time are considered. Ariel Sharon is found to be prominent in the matrix. Based on the terms found, the reasons are listed why it is believed that Sharon will win the election. We find it in the matrix the terms Sharon, from the year 5000 and 761, February 6th in 2001, which corresponds to the Hebrew year of 5761, the head of the states, referring to Sharon, of course. Here we see his name, Ariel. Which Ariel? In blue we see Sharon. The message is clear: Sharon, the ruler of the government. They will support Sharon for a ruler. On the other hand, Peres will not be elected president in 2000 and will not be elected as a prime minister in 2001. As the term below indicates, will not be elected. On February 13, 2001, Keith York, the director of the Bible Codes, wrote an article on a post-analysis of the Ariel Sharon matrices, where it was stated that Ariel Sharon would win the February 6 election. He repeated my story how I almost published that Peres will be the winner, until I extended one term by 2 letters. It changed the message from will be elected to will not be elected. In my second attempt to analyze an election, I found interesting definitions about the various parties. It was the election held in Israel on January 28, 2003. The matrix explained that the right was an ally of the religious parties. It was hawkish and rose like a mountain during that election, while the left parties were caught sleeping, while other parties were dying politically. From the published results of the election, we can confirm that, as the matrix indicated, the right rose like a mountain by 19 and 3 seats. The Labour in the left was napping and dropped 7 seats. Meretz dropped 4 seats. The center was moving up by 9 seats. Other parties were dying by 6, 4, and 4 seats. My third election analysis was published also well in advance, this time in the Bible Codes Digest website. In a long article dealing with various topics were also the Israeli elections of the 28th March 2006 a subtopic. In a second article after the election, a comparison was made between the first article and the actual results. Many parties received the exact number of seats or were off by 1 seat as outlined by the matrix and shown in this table. The red arrows indicate, as the matrix outlined, a major reduction in seats for 2 parties, while the green arrows show almost the exact seats in the final results as the matrix. In the article we see a detailed analysis of the results we just saw. While as the green term at the bottom indicates 56 in the center, we can see that the center block got 56 seats together. And here I must confess my mistake. When I first produced my analysis, I thought that Kadima will get 40 seats, since the letter Mem stands for 40. However, the decoder was wrong, and the master of the universe had the matrix correct. The term should have been decoded: desolation will petrify them. Go away from Kadima. This is a much longer complex term and therefore carries more weight and statistical significance. I should have had it perfect. I only had it right as an overall picture. However, I am only flesh and blood and not a prophet. Nevertheless, as I succeed and even when I stumble, I am in awe of the depth of the Torah. I am in awe that it can reveal depth beyond the plain text, while always agreeing with the spirit of the text. We can benefit from the wisdom in the text and the additional insight it gives us in many other ways. The Torah codes are just one of the ways that reveal His glory. I do not underestimate the danger in reaching the wrong conclusions. I presented 2 cases where I fell into a trap. The first time I saw my mistake before publishing the wrong conclusion. The second time I presented half of a good code giving the wrong information. All the other codes in that matrix were good and presented properly. The truth is that we cannot rely on the codes to tell the future. We need many of the pieces of the puzzle in advance and use them for a good cause. I believe that I was successful in getting accurate results in advance of the events in this video was for a good reason. The purpose was to show that the Torah codes against all odds are divine. It also showed that a human interpretation can be wrong.